What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another edition of the Transfer View. Yes, we might have only a couple of days left of transfers to get into. Not a lot of transfers for United to get into either. Nevertheless, there are some bits and pieces this morning. Maybe a last-minute, last-ditch loan from Erik ten Hag's men, primarily focused on Christian Eriksen's injury. It could be a replacement for that. But there's plenty of other stuff to get into. And while DJ and myself were just talking before we went live, DJ went, I think it's been a while since me and you have done a show together. And I went, you're right. Dynamic duo back together. As DJ himself said in the chat, there you go. Yeah. The dynamic duo is back. Batman and Robin, actually Owen and DJ. And then we were just saying that it was like in the really bad Batman films in the 90s. Obviously, there were good ones. There were Tim Burton ones. And then there were bad ones, which were Joel Schumacher ones, which was like Batman and Robin and Batman, I want to say Forever? Is that one with Jim Carrey? Forever.
Val Kilmer, isn't it?
Val Kilmer. Yeah. And particularly at the start of the Batman and Robin one, there is this weird like thing of them putting their suits on, and it's just little parts of their thing, like glove, or spikes on the side of their arm, belt, boots.
Brings me back. It brings me back. It brings me back. Honestly, man, brings me back.
That's what we were doing before we went live. We were going,
Ugh.
Does that mean you have to ride the motorcycle and I get the Batmobile as well?
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind. You know, we could do the little side cart thing. I can be the little side cart, and you could actually ride the motorbike.
God. And that reminds me as well, at the beginning of that film, when they're doing that whole thing, and then Robin's on his motorbike, and then Batman's in his car, and then they have like one of the worst lines in Batman films, which is, "Oh, chicks dig the car," and he goes, "No, this is why Superman works alone," and then they drive off. It's just an awful film.
Stupid line, right?
Terrible.
Corny.
Oh, it's awful. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, like Poison Ivy. Oh no.
It just wasn't working.
It wasn't working. No, thank God they rebooted that. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Happy Monday to you all. As I mentioned, a couple of days left of the transfer window and some bits and pieces to get into this morning. Let's see who's in the chat already as well. Steffi Jenks says, my favourite duo. Diva says, big up everyone. Sophia's Football Talk says, big up Owen and DJ. Damian Brown says, all about Batman 2. That's the one with the penguin in, isn't it? That's the second Tim Burton one. Although I preferred... Actually, I was going to say I preferred the first one, but I'm not sure. Actually, no, I
preferred two. I preferred two because it had Catwoman in it as well. Michelle Pfeiffer, was playing Catwoman in the Tim Burton one. Yeah,
that was good. Although the end, I mean, spoilers, but it came out like 30 years ago. but you know, like at the end where she sort of pops up, and you're like, oh, she's alive. Yeah, that's really badly done. Like it's really badly done.
Even sort of the set pieces, it looked like it was all made of cardboard, and it was crazy.
Yeah. But there you go, Batman view this morning, Cape Crusader view.
Yeah.
We're going to start off talking though, DJ, about one more possible loan deal for Manchester United in January. Now, this comes from Dharma Chef from Sky Sports, saying, "Quote: Christian Eriksen went off on crutches, of course, referring to the game in the FA Cup against Reading at the weekend. He had to go off after about 50 minutes after that terrible tackle by Andy Carroll, disgraced cheat, which he didn't even get a card for.
Yeah,
did get sent off in the end. But Eriksen left the stadium on crutches in a protective boot. Now, Dharma continues by saying, depending on how serious that is, would dictate if United would try and go into the market for a loan. I think a big signing, it looks very unlikely. So don't think we're going to go out and sign this sort of 40, 50 million pound midfielder, or going to go for Caicedo, who Chelsea and Arsenal are going crazy for. It could possibly be a loan deal, something like that. I mean, can you see any business between now and, what's the deadline, tomorrow? Can you see any business between now and tomorrow?
Well, I mean, stranger things have happened, especially with Manchester United. I think no one in a million years would have thought Cristiano Ronaldo would have come back, and hey, he did. No one in a million years would have thought Pogba would have come back, but he did. So there's always, with football, there's always that realm of possibility that something could happen. Do I think United have been doing any, calls or anything? I don't think so. I think, the Eriksen injury is very ill-timed. I do think he's going to hang the hat on maybe one of the youngsters. We've been kind of seeing the signs of that over the last sort of, few months. He's preparing one of them at least to take up that spot. Could be Kobe Mainoo, who knows? But I don't see it, Owen. I hope we do. I hope we can bring someone in. I'm hearing talks of Gravenberch, but I'm hearing, Bayern are saying no. So if it isn't going to be someone of that quality, then is there any point? We might as well just put one of the kids in there. So I don't see any business.
Yeah. Well, actually, DJ, that is where you're wrong.
Wow.
You're wrong, because David Ornstein has tweeted in the last minute or so. This is what happens when you go live. Get ready, folks. We're logging on to Ornhub. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
Ornhub. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
He has just tweeted out an exclusive. Manchester United set to sign top prospect Gabriel. Now I'm going to get this one wrong. Bankiri from Cardiff City. He's 16 years old. He's a Welsh youth international. He did his medical over the weekend. He will sign scholar forms before moving on to a long-term pro deal when he turns 17 in September. That's from The Athletic, DJ. Yeah, that's the sign. That's the signing that everyone wanted. That's the signing everyone wanted. We said we're going to get another signing. Manchester United have done the business, okay?
What a plot twist. See, you had me there. I thought it was going to be someone big, and then you just brought me back down to earth again.
Yeah.
I love the execution. Well, I love the execution. I love it.
Well, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get in that Batman film, trying to improve my acting. But look, they were all saying in the chat, they were saying, Ornstein tweet. This is what the tweet was. We've signed a youth prospect. No, I agree with you. DJ, that I don't think we're going to do any business. I'd be even really surprised for a loan deal, honestly. And I was saying this yesterday during Match Day Reloaded. Check it out. That it's almost making me a bit angry. I'm going to have to prevent myself from going on a bit of a rant this morning because I did it yesterday. But I see all of this stuff on social media and on Twitter and Instagram, and I see this sort of faux outrage about United. What are we doing? What are we doing, DJ? We're not signing anyone. Look at Chelsea. Look at Arsenal. Yeah. Look at all of these people signing these people. And what Manchester United do? We're not doing anything. Oh, we're failing Erik ten Hag. No, we're not. Like, you have to realize the situation. And the situation is we haven't got any money, so we're not going to buy anyone. You can't expect something to happen that isn't going to happen and then be outraged when it doesn't happen. That to me is totally illogical. That doesn't make any sense to me. That is like me, take it back to a Batman theme, me waking up every morning going, why am I not Superman? Why am I not Superman? Well, it's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
I'm not from. It's not going to happen. Or even said a bit more realistic. Waking up, I look at my bank account. Why don't I have £1 million? Why don't I have £1 million yet? It's not going to happen. And then me getting angry that I don't have £1 million in my bank account when it's never going to happen in the first place. Yeah. So you have to manage the expectations of that. And obviously, it's annoying to see, rivals or other big clubs doing business, but they're in different positions than we are. Chelsea had a takeover last year. They've got an owner that's found ways to get around FFP. They also had, a £1.5 billion loan that was hanging over them as a club that was taken away. Poof, it went when Roman Abramovich went. Plus, they had a transfer window a couple of years ago, but they didn't buy anyone. So their financial situation right now is a lot different to Manchester United's. Yeah. And as I said before, like with the Glazers, how many conversations have we had, you and I, on here where you go, oh, would you take this to get the Glazers out? Would you take United getting relegated to have the Glazers out? And everyone goes, oh, we'll take anything to get them out. We've got one more window, DJ. One more. Yeah. One more window, which is this. And then hopefully by the summer, the Glazers would be gone. Factor in as well, we've got a world-class coach. We've got a squad of players that is doing well, and they are good. Mm-hmm. Could we have more? Would it be better if we had more, rather? Yes. Would it be better if we had more strength in depth? Yes. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Everything isn't now. And I think that we have to just manage the expectations, do we not? Yeah,
100%. And I think it's down to the good work that Ten Hag and his team and staff are doing, as well as some of the players, because I think at the start of this season, I didn't have any expectation. I said, look, no expectations on Ten Hag. He inherited such a broken, disjointed, ununited team in terms of there was no cohesion. There was leaks coming out of everywhere and no one wanted to play for each other. Now, fast forward, he's come in. The team looks like they fight for every ball. They actually try, even in some of the losses we've had. We've actually tried. And there does seem to be a very generalized good feeling. There feels stability around the club. Now, with that being said, I think because he's done so well, our expectations are now, well, maybe not ours, but a lot of United fans' expectations are changing. And the reason why they're changing is because of how well we're doing. So we're going from maybe, oh, I don't mind if Ten Hag gets fifth, to, oh, we could be in a title race. Oh, actually, we should be signing this X amount of player. The reality is, look, guys, we've got to just slow down, take it easy. Our rivals are strengthening, yes, but we will have our time. We will strengthen when our time is right. We still need to figure out who the new owner is going to be. We still need to figure out how much money is available. And then Ten Hag can actually put pieces to the puzzle. He can't put pieces to a puzzle that he doesn't even know how much he's spending yet. He doesn't know because there is no money at the moment. So we have to work with what we've got.
And look, people will disagree, such as Makish, who says, I aggressively disagree. You don't have to be aggressive, Makish. It's early. And then he says, but this is kind of my point, and I'm not singling you out or anything like this, but when he says, Owen, the Glazers can easily put money in their own pockets, there is logic. That to me is illogical because they never have. Mm-hmm. Why on earth would we expect them to do something now on their way out that they've never done the whole time that they're here? That is the definition of insanity, is expecting something different. Expecting something different to happen when they are leaving. That Owen, to me, I just don't get that.
How I kind of picture Man United is if you picture someone with a pocket full of coins, right? Pocket full of coins, and then there's a hole in the bottom of the pocket. So the money is literally just draining out into a bucket, which is the Glazers. That's the imagery I want you guys to have this morning of United. Then you look at Chelsea, pocket full of coins, jingling, ching, 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 jingling around. United's ones, they're just falling through the bottom into a bucket. That is what's happening with our club. And you hit the nail on the head, Owen. These people, they've come into our club. Their interest didn't really align with ours in the beginning. It was just a cash cow. They've milked it dry now. Why would they invest? Why? It doesn't make any sense. They're going out the door. They're out the door. Why would they say, "Oh, guys, you know what?"
And they've never done it anyway. And they've never done it anyway. Remember, I don't think they've invested a penny of their own actual money. I mean, they didn't even buy the club with their own money. Yeah. let alone invest it. They bought the club by leveraged debt. So, and in terms of investing their own money, I think the last time they actually had investment from the owners was something like 2011. Crazy. So they haven't done it in over a decade. Mm-hmm. Why would they do it when they're leaving? And I see some people say, well, make the club more valuable. That we're talking then just by a couple of million. The club's being sold for like 5 or 6 billion. They're like, wow, we're not going to put 100 million in, whatever. No, it's going to be sold regardless for 5 or 6 billion. And again, and they've never done it anyway. So we kind of, not that, because again, people will say, well, that's a very defeatist attitude you've got there, Owen. It's a very defeatist attitude. But my point being is I don't think, rule out getting another loan signing. That could happen. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, this idea of, we're going to go into the market and get Yuri Tielemans for like even 15 million. I think that's out of United's ballpark at the moment.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, they had 24 million cash balance. Even it's almost, DJ, and this is how crazy it is financially at United. It's almost a minor miracle that we got Weghorst on loan in January.
I know, right?
I know, right? It really is.
Yeah, like literally the money is super tight. The money's super tight, and it's down to the owners. And I think one of the things we need to understand is that the Glazers, like your standpoint or in my standpoint, very similar. The Glazers haven't shown us anything different. They have form for how they act. They haven't shown us anything different. They've never really surprised us with any of their moves. It's always been the same pattern of behavior, and it's unchanged behavior. So for me, the writing's on the wall. They're not going to invest anything. So we're probably not going to get anyone in this transfer window. We're going to have to bite the bullet and see how far this team can get till the summer. And then if and when a new owner comes in, then we can assess. Who knows? We might be in a better position in the summer. I think we all hope so. And then things could change drastically. So we just have to wait. Literally just have to wait.
Mm. But look, Chinmaya says here, the great coach will be fired if we don't win anything this season. Then get ready for the pot shit show into rebuild. In my opinion, we must sign this window or we're going back to mid-table for the next 10 years. And again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I just disagree. But Erik ten Hag is not going to get sacked this season. Even if things collapse massively, there'd be justification for it because of everything going on. But even that, that's not going to happen. We're near enough in even if, DJ, we didn't win anything this season, the fact that we'd have got to seemingly the final of the Carabao Cup and, would be near enough the top 4. I think it'd be very surprising if we didn't get European football at all this season. There are clear signs of progression at Manchester United. And as I say, like for me, I don't think now is the time to be sort of negative. I saw it after the Arsenal game. I saw some negativity, and I just see it the complete opposite. I really do. I see that there's a lot to be positive about United at the
100%.
moment.
Yeah,
A good manager,
100%.
good players. Glazers are leaving.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
100%. And that's the thing. And again, it just goes back to what I said before. It's going back to the fact that Ten Hag has done such a great job that, again, our expectations now are rising, which should happen. But again, we need to remain grounded and understand that he's only been 6 months into the job. This process, and I know a lot of Dutch managers like to use the word process, but it's true. It's a process. It's a process in which we're trying to transition and change the way the club's been run, change everything. And it's not just change the first 11. It's not just change the squad. It's changing the transfer strategy. It's changing how the club's run as a whole. It's changing so many different things, corporate level, that needs to change for this club to rebuild. So we just need to relax. Everyone relax. Look, Ten Hag is doing borderline miracles with this team. If we can get a cup out of this season, great. We just got to survive until the summer, and then things will become clearer, literally.
Yeah, and I think also as well, if we get the top four, then we're in a really good position next summer, because we've got top four, Champions League football, new owners coming in. By all accounts, from an FFP perspective, not that FFP is a real thing, because
it's not a real thing, is it?
Chelsea,
no. not to them anyway.
No. I was reading that this has distracted me, but I was trying to read a thread last night on Twitter about like how Chelsea are doing it, and then once they start getting into like, they're talking about it, then goes brackets the club, brackets net spend, and it hurt my head, DJ. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that's how they're getting away with it. People they start reading it, they go,
oh. To be honest, like you have to give Chelsea their props. Where there's a will, there's a way. They're doing everything and pulling out all the stops to try and make themselves successful again, and trying to get the best players that they can possibly get. You can't really hate on that. I think, because of them now, there's certain rules that's been put in terms of contract lengths and stuff like that, in terms of paying over fees, which I think is the right thing to do. But hey, they managed to sort of bend the rules a little bit, so can't hate on it.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, isn't it, that the thing is with rules, they're only put in place after the fact, when they realise someone's doing something they shouldn't be. Yeah. And you feel like that might be the situation with Chelsea.
Definitely.
Some rules will come in place and they go, that can't happen again in the future. Look, it'll be interesting. It's going to Chelsea at the moment just feel like this sort of just everyday experiment as to see what's going to happen. Because by all accounts, pun intended, but by all accounts, second half of the season, they should be, when they get their players back from injury and just the plethora of other players they've signed, they should be good, right? They should be good. Yeah. But at the moment, they're 10th. So it's that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine spending that amount of money? If they finish 10th, that is the wildest thing. I think one of the craziest things in Premier League history. That's going to be right
100%,
up there.
100%. And I think, but my worry is that they will click. They brought so much quality in their team from back to front. Like they'll if they click, they're going to be a serious force to be reckoned with. I think out of the top sides who might be going down the other end, I think Liverpool are starting to fall now. We're starting to see maybe, in my opinion, Klopp might be coming to the end of his powers now. Things are waning a little bit. City will always be City from the looks of it. Arsenal had a new force coming up now. We're on the ascendancy, and Chelsea, they're like the lions waiting to ascend. So again, football changes. I think Neville said it a couple of seasons ago. Football happens in cycles. We're slowly going to see that now. But we can become part of that dominant bracket if a new owner comes in and backs Ten Hag. And Ten Hag looks like, if you back him all the way with some serious money, we could be, I don't want to get too giddy, but we could be a powerful force again. Legit, we could.
Yeah, and this is my thing as well with the new owners too. And I think Chelsea are a great example of this, whereby it's great to spend money. It's great to have it. It's great to buy players, but it's not about money. It's about strategy. And at the moment, you feel like, and I might be wrong, but you feel like Chelsea's, there's not a ton of strategy going on. The strategy is to get round the rules.
Yeah.
But in terms of strategy of who they're getting, I don't know. And look, again, I think Chelsea are a fascinating one, because as of right now, as of today, they're 10th in the league. Come the end of the season, who knows what they'll do? I just don't know. I don't think anyone knows at the moment.
That's crazy.
I've got friends that are Chelsea fans, and every single time they go, I saw them go, we're going to go back in for Enzo Fernandez, 120 million euros. How? There's only so much what's the word? Amortization, whatever it's called. That's how they spread out. There's only so much they can do with that, surely.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how they're even doing this, Owen. Honestly, I think I'm sitting on the sidelines more fascinated, if anything. Fascinated. Forget the football. Forget the football. The financials are crazy. Like I'm just sitting watching the financials and seeing how this plays out, just like everyone else.
And then again, what I just don't get with that is I'll see some United fans, they want us to be that. I'm like, but we've been that. Ed Woodward used to do that. He used to do that. He used to do
not to the length
not to that level.
Doing. Yeah.
No. But it used to be like, we're going to spend 250 million and we're going to get people on these massive wages. And what did it do? There was no strategy to it. We bought players.
Yeah.
So, and look, when you buy that amount of players with Chelsea as well, look at people like Forest to a lesser extent, but when you bring all those players in to gel them all together, that is not easy. That takes time. But at the same time, look, Newcastle last season, they spent big in January. Not only did they get out of relegation, where did they finish in the end? 10th or something like that. They went all the way up the table. So anything's possible with Chelsea. It's just, I don't know. That cannot be sustainable. They can't do that next year. Surely they can't buy 25 players or anything like that.
They might just do it. And as you said, I think the other side of it is getting those players to gel. I've seen teams, put, for example, the old City teams, the old City teams. I remember when Joe was there. Do you remember Joe and all those type of players were at City? They didn't particularly gel too well, but they had to figure out a formula that was going to work for them. Chelsea is a scattergun approach. You can just tell scattergun, get him. He's a good player. There's no system. I don't even know what system they're going to play. They're just players. Just buy players.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just players. And I find it wild when I see on Twitter people going, Todd means business. What business does he mean? What? Just throwing money. Richard Arnold said it, burning through cash. That's literally what they're doing.
Burning through cash, crazy.
I'm sure it's great. As a fan, it's great to see this person come in, but at the same time, you surely eventually you'd be worried. Actually, guys, is this who we need?
Chelsea
what's going on?
Chelsea are just throwing money at the problem. Typical rich man thing. Throw money at the problem. Oh, it's broken. Oh, yeah, it's broken. Literally, they're not trying to work on the players that they have, improve some of the players that they have. There's none of that. It's literally a manufactured machine. Here's money. You buy the players. They need to perform. That's it.
Mm. Yeah. And also, if it doesn't work, if it gets to April, if they're still 10th, how I know they said, Graham Potter long-term project, but you got to win matches.
Exactly.
Eventually,
I think he'll go. I think he'll end up going. I just don't think that he's big enough for what they're building. That's just my opinion. And it's not to put him down or anything. I think he is a good manager, but I think that move come too soon. Good manager, very good manager, but I think it come too soon. And those are going to be big European standard players there. Can he handle that? Can he handle all those big egos? They asked the same thing about Oli. They've asked the same thing about Ten Hag before he came in.
Yeah.
Can he handle it? Can Graham Potter handle it? And I think that's a big question. And if it doesn't work, I hope that they're under the same level of scrutiny as United, because remember, they pulled us through the mud.
They're not, DJ. That's the annoying thing. They're not. If we were 10th right now, can you imagine? If I turned on this TV, I'd turn off immediately. I'd be brought with a noise of Manchester United. Oh, well, you're terrible. All that kind of stuff.
Terrible,
the graphics would be coming up. This is your spend since this date compared to Man City. They always bring that one up.
They all love that. They love that.
They
love that one.
Daniel Luciano with the super chat says, completely agree, but bitter about everyone's transfers. You know what, Daniel? I think that's probably fair. I think that's where a lot of people are right now, where they go, look, Man United aren't going to do any business. Yeah. We would like to be in a position to do it. Maybe we wouldn't want to be on the extreme end of things like a Chelsea, but we would like to be say an Arsenal, at the moment, where it's hey, we might go for midfield like Caicedo, or hey, if Trossard comes up, we might have got him. That kind of thing. We're just not in the position to participate at all. Maybe that's the frustrating thing. And I get that, but at the same time, as I said, I do think we have to be realistic. One person that isn't going anywhere is Victor Lindelof. I saw Blue Dabba Dabba in the chat earlier on. Big Lindelof fan. Big Lindelof fan. Every single time comes in. I saw him earlier on saying, man, I better not get rid of Lindy. Don't worry. You know, we're not going to ruin your morning. Lindelof's not going anywhere. There were reports over the last few days of linking him with a move to Inter Milan, but Fabrizio Romano has said Manchester United have not decided not to accept any loan or permanent deal bid for Victor Lindelof. He's staying. Ten Hag counts on him. Inter approached United for Lindelof in the last few days. Atletico Madrid had also asked for him a few weeks ago, but Lindelof isn't going anywhere right now. What number centre-back do you think he is at United?
I'll say he's 3. Actually, no, scratch that. Maybe 4, because I think Shaw now counts as a centre-back also. So, you know, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, and then Lindy, and then, you know, Maguire is probably number 5, if anything. Yeah,
it's true.
That's how I see it. Yeah,
true.
Definitely, that's how I see it.
I think I'm the same. I think you'd say Martinez and Varane, 1 and 2, whichever one you want to put there.
Yeah.
Then Shaw as the 3. You know, for big games, Luke Shaw, left centre back, no problem.
Yeah.
Lindelof goes into 4, and then Maguire goes into 5. And it's interesting because in a press conference the other day, I think Ten Hag was asked if Maguire was 5th choice. He was like, "Oh no." Didn't say which choice he was, but he was, you know, no. I like Victor Lindelof in this role. I think this is the perfect role for him. The issue before always was, with people like Maguire and Lindelof, you ever going to win things as them being your first 2 centre-backs? Probably not, no.
Yeah.
But Victor Lindelof being your 3rd or 4th choice, that's fine, because he can come in to, you know, most games and do okay. He's not the leader-like figure in the back 4. He doesn't have the leadership qualities of a Varane or a Martinez, but in terms of having squad depth and a squad to compete on all fronts, I like this role for him. Whether or not he would like this role for himself, I don't know. That would be the question. I mean, there's some good clubs there going after Lindelof, you know, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid. But at the same time, that's almost, you could almost see him playing for both of them, couldn't you? Sort of an Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid. Again, not turning up trees, but he could fit in there.
Yeah, I think, was it last year, maybe the year before? Probably last year, we spoke about sort of our defenders. And Lindelof, for me, is probably an average player. However, you need average players in a squad of really good players. And I think, you know, Fergie showed us the blueprint. You can have your average players that work hard. And I think Lindelof is someone that looks like he works hard. Lindelof is someone that you can actually depend on. Do you know what I mean? You can actually depend on him to come in and put in a nice average performance. He, in a way, stylistically, is the sort of understudy to Varane. That's why I think Ten Hag wants to keep him. He plays in a similar fashion, but just not as good. So I think in terms of your archetype and profile of player, Lindelof is who you kind of want as one of your bench centre backs in the squad. And I think that's a big reason why Ten Hag doesn't want to let him go. But also, let's be honest. I think he knows that Varane is a game-to-game basis. So if something, God forbid, touching my desk here, God forbid, if something happens to Varane, you can count on Lindelof to maybe step in. Or I don't even think he'll do that, actually. You know what? I think he might just do Martinez and Shaw. He could just do that, to be fair.
He could indeed. Yeah. Love says Maguire is 6. We have Axel Twanzebe, and then also says Maguire is 7th. Actually, we have Phil Jones. Come on.
That's not nice.
That's not nice. I saw the I don't know if you saw this, DJ, in the press conference before the Reading game. He was asked about Phil Jones, Ten Hag, and he said,
I didn't see that.
He was asked about Phil Jones. Said, "Is he going to be going at the end of the summer? His contract's up at the end of the summer." And he said, "Well, we haven't made a decision yet. We'll have to wait and see." But what he did say, which is, I think, just absolutely fascinating, he said, essentially, since he's been the manager, Phil Jones has not been able to participate in one training session.
Crazy.
Since he's been the manager.
Crazy.
Like that is insane. And I'm not going to be like one of these people that goes in on Phil Jones, because I've said this before. This is my theory on Phil Jones. I don't know this to be fact. This is speculation on my part. But my theory is that he knows he can't play anymore, sort of thing. You know, his knees completely screwed up. I mean, he played a couple of games last season, played against Wolves and Liverpool, I think, away. Yeah. But he knows that he can't play. And he's just sitting out his contract. And to be honest, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
The issue isn't with Phil Jones. The issue is with the people that gave Phil Jones a contract extension, 4 years in 2019? That's crazy. The main issue.
That's crazy.
It is.
Crazy.
Crazy. Why would you do it?
Like, I think, And I think at the time we was like, what the hell? Like, what?
Mm.
Why? Was it? I'm sure that was Oli, no?
I think so, yeah. And
That was under
also as
Oli,
well,
wasn't it?
it was based on the fact like that season he had played like one game as well then.
Yeah.
He got given this new
That's
contract and everyone
crazy.
went, what? It's crazy. And again, I don't blame him. If I got offered, if I knew in the back of my mind, look, DJ, physically I'm done. Like, I can't play football anymore.
Yeah.
And then I got offered a 4-year contract for Manchester United. Yes. Sign it. Yes, guaranteed 4 years.
Mate, he inked that deal so fast.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
Yeah.
Like, of course
even afterwards he went, I've got a signature on it. It's got to be worth something.
Yeah, it's got to be
I'm
something.
gonna get something out of it. And like, because even it was at the beginning of the season, wasn't it? It was he doesn't even have a spot, I think, in the dressing room anymore. They've got their designated spots. He got moved out of the dressing room. And people said that. People went, it's cold. And I went, I don't think he cares. Why would you care? And you feel bad for him. I remember Ollie doing the press conference that time, and he said, look, I sympathize with him because I went through a lot like he did. I had a knee problem. And yeah, and you do. And I remember he came back against Wolves last year. It was around this time last year, actually.
Yeah.
And I think he was one of the best players on the pitch. It was crazy. But the fact that Ten Hag said in that press conference, the whole time I've been the manager, he hasn't been able to do a training session. You go like,
here's a theory from your good old pal DJ. Yeah, I think we will see Phil Jones on the Diary of a CEO podcast with Stephen Bartlett from Dragon's Den. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now, when he eventually leaves, because there's a lot of time we don't know what he's been doing, how he's been feeling. There's missing years. There's missing years of Phil Jones. Like there's a lot we don't know. So he'll probably be on that show, and then we'll find out a bit more. Or he'll do a book or something like that.
Yeah, it's just true. And I think that chances are most likely once his contract's up in the summer, I think he'll retire because no one's given him. Yeah,
there's not a lot of evidence to go off by.
No, exactly. I think he'll probably retire. And again, look, I sympathize for him. Injuries are really, really tough. He did that interview before where he said, "Oh yeah, I was in a preseason friendly and I took injections into my foot to play." And everyone, when they heard that, went, "I can see why you're injured a lot then, because that's you shouldn't. Crazy. Don't do that. Don't do that." I think physically he's done, and he's just doing what everyone else would do, and that's like, look, this is going to be the last time in my career I'm going to earn this amount of money, and I'm keeping it. And fair play to him. Pre-Tesh with the super chat says Jones found the best unemployment benefits program. And M Sati says, I don't think he's done physically, Owen. Might be a combination of things, as basically the fan base bullied him. I wish him the best, to be honest. Absolutely wish him the best. I disagree. I do think it's probably a physical thing. I mean, he's not. He can't even do a train session.
I think the last bit of energy he gave us was that Wolves game where he played well.
Played well. Actually, he played away at Anfield last season when we lost like 4-0. And he came off at like half time, I think it was. Not because he was injured. He came off because we would lose in 4-0 or something like that. And he was all right in that game as well. he was okay. Like I said, I just think physically, just clearly his body can't hold up anymore, which is a shame. And look, when he came to United, DJ, I remember, was it 2011, whenever it was, something like that. He was the next big thing coming from Blackburn. We'd signed him. Our centre-back pairing for a decade that was going to win us titles and trophies was him and Chris Smalling. That was going to be the one.
They were anointed by Sir Alex himself. So it doesn't.
Didn't really work out that one.
Oh man!
And you know what's crazy though? You feel like if Sir Alex had stayed like an extra 4 or 5 years, the crazy thing is it would have worked out because he'd have found a way.
He would have found a way.
He did.
But Sir Alex had a few clangers though. Nick Powell, do you remember him? Yeah, he had a few.
I remember him. Yeah.
Darren Gibson, not quite there. There was a few that came through. Bebe, Obertan. Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah, Jemba.
Cleverson. There's such a list.
There's
Anderson.
But during that time, DJ, what did we still do? We still won trophies, still won league titles. He made it work. That's the point.
Wow.
He made it work. He won a league title one season. I think Vidic was out for the majority of it, and Johnny Evans played the majority of the season. Won a league title.
Yeah,
Johnny Evans centre back. That's That's the guy was insane. He
It was
played like 8
insane, innit?
defenders once
Against
against Arsenal in the FA
Yeah,
Cup.
I
And he
remember that. I
won.
watched that game. Yeah, I watched that game and we won. One of the Silva brothers scored. One of them scored. I think
Yeah.
both of them scored or one of them scored. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, John O'Shea in midfield. He won.
Played John O'Shea against Real Madrid and he's not making Figo.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Super chat from Amanor says Phil Jones has dirt on Manchester United. Mina's loan view. Yes, Mina dropped the loan view last night as well. That's up on the channel if you want to check the progress of all of our loanees. I think last night's episode was specific to the championship. So if you want to know a bit more about our loanees in the championship, you can check that out. Excellent stuff as always. I want to talk about Wan-Bissaka, one of your favorites, DJ.
Yeah.
One of your favorites, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, obviously, he's been playing really well in since the World Cup, really. He was linked to Crystal Palace, and reports this morning are suggesting that Crystal Palace are reportedly willing to bide their time with a move for United defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was linked with a move away from the club earlier in the window, but he has re-established himself in the side under Erik ten Hag since then, basically saying that Palace will likely go in for him in the summer. Do you think, with his recent good form, that's his United future secured in the summer, or do you still think there's going to be this conversation about might look for another right back? Wan-Bissaka did well to the end of the season. What do you think his future looks like?
See, I did say in a previous show, I was basically saying, look, if we get this massive owner and there's funds to spend and stuff like that, then yeah, you would sell him cash in and maybe get a better option at right back. However, the niggling thing, Owen, the niggling thing for me is that he has an X factor about him. Some footballers have X factors, some don't. He actually has an X factor, and his one-on-one defending is an X factor. If there's games where we're going to be under the cosh, you're going to need someone like him that can time tackles. That he rarely fouls. He does give away fouls, but rarely. Like, he's quite accurate with his tackling, and we're seeing an improvement now, and we're seeing a hunger, we're seeing a drive from him. Maybe he is a squad player. Maybe you use him then as a squad player. Maybe you do continuously just buy a right back in the summer anyway. Someone that's going to challenge Dalot for that first spot and have him as a squad player, because look, there is so many games. And if we do improve the squad to the levels that we want to improve it, we should be fighting on all fronts, all different competitions. So you're going to need a lot of players and a lot of depth. I think big squads now are the in thing. We need big squads because there's injuries every season. So, I mean, I would just see the lay of the land. I think, if we do get like, big investment coming in the summer, then you would look to move him on, get a little bit of money back. But alternatively, Ten Hag, I think that's a good problem to have. You can either get rid of him or you can keep him and make him a squad player. Because even him, by his own admission, would realise that some of his performances before his form were terrible.
Oh, yeah. Massively. I mean, I really don't know at the moment with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's a tough one because I've even been putting polls in the chat recently. Who's the number one right back at United? Because I really do think his form's been that good. Now, I think what we saw against Arsenal was the side that we remember from Wan-Bissaka, which was the look over the shoulder, not known as the player was there. Yeah. That's the Wan-Bissaka special. He always does that. but at the same time, in the other games, and even to an extent in that Arsenal game, but in other games, even against Reading at the weekend, and I know people say, well, it's only Reading and it's only Forest and it's only whoever. He's playing well. Like and not just in aspects that we didn't think he was capable of improving on. His first touch has got exponentially better. Like it has, or his passing has got so much better. Say DJ, he suffered from condition before. Suffered from Brentford.
Yeah, no, it's true.
He suffered from the condition before.
Yeah.
It's gone. He's been medicated. Gone. I don't know what's happened, but it's improved. And even his link-up play with Anthony on the right-hand side against Reading was better. It was all right. And I say to myself, well, then, okay, what's Ten Hag looking for? Because if he's just looking for someone to provide Dalot with competition, are we not seeing that at the moment? We're seeing competition. We
are, but I think Wan-Bissaka's biggest issue is just the technical side. So he's still, I think he compensates because of his athleticism. Did I say that right? Athleticism. Yes. Yeah, I've got it out. Yeah, he compensates because he's a great athlete. So if his touch is a little bit off a millisecond, he can recover it, and it doesn't look to the untrained eye like, oh yeah, he controlled that perfectly. But because I've seen it sometimes, it'll come to him and it'll come off his leg a little bit, but he'll catch it in a split second and he'll mask it. And I think in the bigger games against sort of the cities where you might have to play very tight and keep the ball, he will struggle. But that's why then you have Dalot, who is slightly better at that game of football. And that's why I think he's a great option. If he isn't your number one, he is a great understudy and a great option because defensively, how many times has he ever been beaten? Like, I probably count on one hand. Maybe it's 5 times, all my digits, but
5 times,
yeah,
5 times, 5
times,
times.
5 times. You know what I mean, though? Like, he's such an X factor in the defensive department in terms of the one-on-one defending. The over-the-shoulder thing, that is his kryptonite, though. That is definitely his kryptonite. His awareness sometimes is a bit off.
Yeah, but you say that like in the games against Man City, he was brilliant against Man City at Old Trafford. He kept Phil Foden very, very quiet in that game.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a decision for Ten Hag to make. And I'm not sure which one he'll go with. My instinct says I still think he'd probably be leaning more towards getting someone else that maybe he's a bit more comfortable with. And like you said, is a bit more technically proficient. But let's be honest, I don't think anyone saw this coming. No one saw this coming from Wan-Bissaka. He was done. People said he was part of our January plans. So Wan-Bissaka get some funds.
Yeah, he was.
He was. That was
probably
the situation.
He was probably the only player as well that would generate something. One of the only ones that would generate some money, and it's just testament to him. And I think as fans, we're really quick because I did write him off a little bit. I admit that I do owe him a sincere apology. I did write him off.
Not as big as KG. Not as big as KG.
KG left him on the road. Yeah, he left him on the road. He drove off, left him, then picked him back.
He was like Moses. He put him in. They put him in the basket and pushed him down the river.
Go down the Thames. So
and now he's chasing after him. Come back.
Well, KG said that. He goes, "Oh, I picked him back up. Now we're in the car, and it's an awkward drive back." He said back home. But
I just think on the side of the road, and then he drove 200 miles, pulled a U-turn, and went, "Shouldn't have done it.
Should have done that.
Come back round. Come on back in. You've learned your lesson."
Yeah, and I just think it's a testament to any footballer, at the highest level that they can turn it around. And I think with a good coach, good manager, and good vibe, and the energy is right and positive, you do see players, reach to the next level. I think he has improved slowly. There is a little bit of improvement there in terms of him getting forward and creating spaces. His feet look good. The individual skill look amazing. And I think he's feeling himself now. And, hopefully it continues.
No De Gea says, seems like they're higher priority signings. I mean, that might be a factor too. There might be just, again, financially, we don't know how United look like in the summer. It might be a situation where they just go, look, we're only going to get a striker and maybe a midfielder. Not a priority. We'll see what happens. We've got over 1,100 people, nearly 1,200 people watching. Not even 200 likes, DJ.
Wow.
I wag my finger at you like a disappointed old man. And
Come on, guys, please.
Yes, we can do better. We can get to 250, 300, 350, 500.
Easy.
I mean, if half of you liked it now, we'd be well on our way.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
100%.
It's free. It's free. I mean, we've got this is the crazy thing, DJ, is that in the poll in the chat, 6 minutes in, we've got 251 votes, not even 200 likes.
Yeah, I know.
How does that
Come on, guys.
out?
Guys being lazy. Come on, man. Come on, show some love.
If you're on your phone, it's just a little bit of the distance up. The votes here, you just got to go up a little bit higher and click it there. It's easy. Go. Speaking of the poll in the chat, as I mentioned, 6 or 7 minutes gone. Would you sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer? Interesting results, DJ. 66% say no. They would not sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer. What a turnaround that is. Because I think after Christmas, if you'd have said, would you sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer? The majority would be yes. Very interesting.
Yeah. It just goes back to what we were saying, I think. But again, half of that, we have to attribute that to Aaron AWB himself. Couldn't get the name out.
Yes.
It's early. Ain't that my war. Yeah. But AWB first, we have to give him the props, but also to the coaching staff, like Mitchell van der Haag as well. Like, he's someone that quietly is in the background working hard. I spoke to Flex, and Flex says, like when Flex has seen them training up close, he's very hands-on. He's the one, not even more so than Ten Hag, he's the one that's directing the orders, him and McLaren. So we have to give it to the coaching staff as well. They're doing something right.
100%, absolutely, they are. As I want to say, hit the like button. Love says 200 likes and you'll take your shirt off, Owen. No, I won't.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I don't want the show to get demonetized. I look like, what's that guy from Futurama called? Zoidberg, that like crab or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he loses his shell one day, and then that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I related to that massively. I went, oh, that's me. Zoidberg without a shower. That's me.
That's good.
So no, I'm not going to do that. But please do hit the like button.
Guys,
Keeping
wait 1 second, Owen. 1 sec, Owen.
Yes.
Guys, if you can get the likes up, you may see me and Owen appear at WrestleMania as the new tag duo. Why not?
Well,
that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it?
I don't know. We've got to go through a tournament to become number one contenders. We've got to work on our tag team finishing moves. I don't know. We haven't done enough training for that. I've got to get in ring shape. I'm miles off it. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm miles off it. I'm going to be doing that sort of big show kind of situation. You know what I mean? All power, no speed.
How would you get in the ring? Would you have to put the top rope down, step over it, the whole big show thing?
I think, no, I'm not that tall. I'll go through the middle rope. Marcel would go through the bottom rope. You know, like when the divas used to go in. That'd be Marcel.
The bottom rope?
Yeah, the bottom rope.
Mate, I'll slide in like Orton, just slide seamlessly underneath. Oh, yeah. That's a sick entrance to the ring, man. Yeah,
or
like
Marcel would have to climb up a ladder just to get in the ring.
To get in the ring.
Yeah. One of those big ones, like the Hardy Boys used to get out and go, look at the size of that ladder. That's just for Marcel just to get in.
Poor Marcel. We love him,
They go,
Marcel.
what's he going to do? He's going to do this amazing move. Oh, no, he's just getting in the ring.
Just getting in the ring. Just to step over. He'll probably fight Hornswoggle, right? Remember Hornswoggle? Probably fight Hornswoggle.
He'd come out from under the ring. That's what we do. That would be our tag team thing. We'll be having the match, and then I get angry, and I go, oh, enough of this. I lift up the ring apron, and I go, get out here. And out comes Marcel. I throw him in the ring.
Oh, man. We love you, Marcel. We do. We love you.
Yeah. Dumfries. Yes, since we're talking about right backs, one person that could be a Wan-Bissaka replacement is Denzel Dumfries, one of the best names at the World Cup as well. Saying that United are still reportedly in contact with Denzel Dumfries' agent as the clock ticks down towards deadline day. The Inter Milan right back has been attracting interest from a whole host of clubs this month, United included, according to Italian reports. Contact is still alive, although a summer switch may be more likely this month. This is why I say, DJ, that I think that Wan-Bissaka could go in the summer, because we've been linked to Dumfries for a while, actually. We were linked to him in the summer. He does feel like a player that Ten Hag would maybe prefer. Obviously, he's Dutch, but also maybe a bit more technically proficient. But what's interesting with Dumfries is primarily he plays as a right wing back, and Ten Hag doesn't play with a back three or a back five. So would he even fit? Would he even fit in that system?
I think he could fit in the system, and I think maybe the system we have at the moment isn't necessarily the system that Ten Hag might use going forward. We don't know. He probably wants to be a bit more fluid, have a bit more diversity in the league. I think Dumfries is one of the best players in that position. And you're right. I think if there is concrete contact with his agent and it's something that United want to do, then to raise funds, you would then look at maybe Dumfries being the number one, Dalot dropping back to as the backup. And then you sell Wan-Bissaka and you get maybe 25 million, maybe a little bit more. Could potentially do that.
You say Dumfries comes in and he's the number one right back at Manchester United.
I think he could do that. I think he's got enough pedigree to do that. It'd be a battle for sure, but yeah, I definitely think he could probably do that. I think he's better than both Wan-Bissaka and Dalot for me. Yeah.
I disagree. I think that
aggressively,
Dalot. I agree aggressively, DJ. I'm going to throw this coffee in your face this morning. How dare you? No, I think Dalot is better than Dumfries. I like what I saw of him at the World Cup. Again, I think we're remiss to judge people based on the World Cup because it's only a couple of games. I remember him against the USA. He did look good. He had a good game. I do have not my doubts about his ability to adapt, because I think Ten Hag can make anyone adapt into anything. Look what he's done this season. But, I mean, he's primarily a right wing back, so he'd almost like be the opposite of Wan-Bissaka, almost, in the sense of a player that's good going forward, but defensively, what would his capabilities look like? I don't know. I mean, it's just the thing is, this is kind of what can we come full circle here, but it's so difficult to try and predict what United could do in the summer, because genuinely we have no idea what United are going to look like in terms of ownership, in terms of where we finish in the league. And again, I think this might be Wan-Bissaka's mentality right now is, okay, I'm just going to give the manager something to think about, because he was out the door in January, and then Dalot gets injured. And huge credit to him because he's absolutely snatched this opportunity. Because earlier on in the season, DJ, it was even to the point of if Dalot was injured or he wasn't available, he'd put Malacia at right back. He hasn't done that this time around, So he's given the manager something to think about, and I still do think he'll give him something to think about in the summer. But you get the impression if Ten Hag's kind of made his mind up on if he likes a player or he doesn't like a player, and in this case, if he likes Dumfries, then maybe that's who he'll look for. But still, I think he'd be coming in to be a backup.
Yeah, one of the things that I think Ten Hag does love the defensive side of the game, and he loves when players are aggressive, and he likes that side of the game. And I think you definitely get that from Wan-Bissaka. Like, he literally saved us this season. I can't remember, someone was through on goal last couple of minutes, and he literally ran the length of the field. Yeah, and caught up with him. Beautiful tackle, clean tackle, got the tackle, and you're always going to get that from him. Rarely there are times where he mistimes a challenge. Do you know what I mean? He's kept some of the best players in the Premier League quiet. But with saying that, I think also with Wan-Bissaka, this is me pro Wan-Bissaka this morning, is that I think Varane's form could also be attributed to that, because Varane he's not having to do as much work as if, say, you have someone like Dalot who's a little bit more offensively minded. Then obviously Varane has to come out to that channel and do a bit more defending. But with Wan-Bissaka, he can just stay centre back and do what he does best: clean up, switch the play. You know what I mean? Wan-Bissaka's doing all of that dirty work for him and doing it well. So maybe that's why you get Varane, who is having slightly lesser injuries in the last few weeks. Fingers crossed.
I think you're right with the tackle that Wan-Bissaka did on Zaha, because I don't think many right backs in the Premier League can make that kind of tackle. Even Zaha said it himself after the game, didn't he? I looked back and I went, "Oh, it's Aaron." And he's the only one that can do that. And it's true. Like, he's got that sort of that tackle in his locker. You could argue that, maybe with another right back, they don't even find themselves in that position. I don't know. These are crazy hypotheticals, but we'll have to wait and see when it comes to Wan-Bissaka in the summer. I think it's an interesting subplot to what we hope would be a busy transfer window. Looking back in the poll once again in the chat, over 428 votes. Would you sell Wan-Bissaka in the summer? And again, 65% saying no, they would keep him, which is certainly interesting as well. Just a bit more from David Ornstein as well. Logging back on. Oh yeah, I've got a problem, DJ. I'm logging back on to Ornhub. Twice in an hour. Disgrace. He has said that United remain unlikely to make any further additions this month beyond signing Wout Weghorst on loan, which kind of ties us full circle to what we were talking about earlier on. One more loan deal, maybe, but unlikely. In totality, then, Butland, Weghorst, how would you rate United's window?
Out of 10?
I don't know. I don't know how you can rate it, but go
ahead. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I think Weghorst is obviously clearly he's providing something different to this team, which is positive. I like him. I like what he's offering. And Butland, Butland, isn't it?
He's just Butland. You know what's crazy when Marcel was saying about Dubravka, he was like,
he was championing it, wasn't he?
Give him an opportunity, guys. Yeah, I've seen the warm-ups. His warm-ups are looking good, and then he was rubbish, and then he went back to Newcastle. I haven't seen him championing Butland, which makes even me worried.
I think he's having a rest. I think Marcel's having a rest. So we'll see with Butland. We'll see how many games he gets towards the end of the season. I just think, guys, fan base, we just got to bide our time. We don't know what we're going to be looking like next season, let alone now. So no point buying players now that might not even fit what we want full circle. So we'll wait. I like
about Weghorst. I've been praising him recently. I think that the negativity, to be fair, I think the negativity has largely been from opposition fans of giving it, you've signed a Burnley reject, rah, rah, rah. I look at him the last few games. He's looked good. And
very good.
It just goes to show, and I think United's performances, people like Anthony are going to improve because they're playing without Weghorst, because one, the person you're training with, the person you're playing with in training, and you're developing that cohesion, you're developing that chemistry, you're developing those patterns of play, for a fact he's going to be playing at the weekend. He's going to be available. You don't know that with Anthony Martial. Yeah. So at least, again, you can build up those kind of patterns of play that you couldn't before, because that front line has been chopped and changed so much this season. Oh, is it going to be Rashford? Is it going to be Martial? Ronaldo when he's here? Is it going to be him? You know for a fact Weghorst is going to play. And also, his hold-up play is good. It's good. Fire the ball in, hold it up, pass it off, lay it off. His link-up plays decent as well.
Yeah.
You can see why he's got those pressing stats that he's got, because it's not as if we did see this against Reading. He does press from the front, but what I noticed is he actually nicks the ball quite a lot, like on the halfway line.
Yeah,
there'll be the other teams pressing forward with it, and he just nicks it and starts it off.
Yeah,
so you can see why his pressing stats are decent. And again, I think that's going to be a bit of shrewd business. And I'll go one step further this morning, DJ, is that I wouldn't mind keeping him towards the end of the season.
Oh, he said it.
I wouldn't mind. If we get a striker in the summer, Osimhen, what a goal he scored yesterday. Absolutely incredible. Amazing. If we got him and we had Weghorst and Martial, that's options right there. That's more options than we have. I'm for it.
I'd personally, with Weghorst, in terms of if you get Osimhen, that's going to be your number one. He's going to be your main guy. So there'll be no point going out and buying a Benjamin Šeško, or going to go and get a Vlahovic. Yeah. It's either going to be one of those. I think Weghorst is a good option to have, sort of just squad player. Good player though. Going to come in the system. Yeah, I like him, and I like his attitude. He's very positive. I like that.
Yeah, I say keep him. Why not? I say keep him as an option. I like his mentality as well. And again, I like his work rate. And I think, ironically enough, for a striker, I don't think his primary function is to score goals, really. I think it's about bringing other people into the game and winning the ball back. Again, I think we're really going to see, obviously Rashford's in great form anyway, but I think we're going to see him thrive even more because of that. Because when he does bring the ball into play, centre-backs, full-backs, they all sort of swarm on him, makes more space. I think the same with Anthony. I think we're going to see Anthony play better because of having him there. And I think he's a decent stopgap until the summer. I saw someone say something. Here we go. Diva says, it's not Weghorst, it's Workhorse. And that's what he is. That's exactly what he is. Paul says, Weghorst work rate is great. Plus, I love the pivots. Satir says, keep Weghorst. There you go. Weghorst, he's already winning people over. Nick says, squad player, yes. Yeah, I think that's it. Weghorst's third option. Why not? Why not? Okay. So there you go, guys. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Still got over 1,100 people watching. We are at 339 likes. I believe in the community, DJ. And I believe that we can get to 600. I don't believe that. I believe 400. I would say we can get to 60 more. We can get 60 more in the last minute before we wrap things up. We can get to 400. Eventually, throughout the day, I believe we can get 600. 100%. Actually, you know what? Why not? Why can't we get to 600? Why not?
We could.
There's enough people watching.
People might be at their work desk right now with this on Cheeky United View on their work desk. Hey, just send a like, guys. Just send a like.
Yeah.
We're keeping you entertained.
If you are at work and you're not meant to be watching it or whatever, just pretend, go on your phone, just be like, just be like, gotta take a call quickly. Take a call, and then be like, come back. Yeah. No one will know. It'll be our secret.
Exactly. We're in this together. We're in this together.
Exactly. we can do it. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Plenty of UV content on the horizon as well. It's Monday. You know what that means. Full views going to come later today. Tomorrow, what we got on tap? Another morning show. I don't know if I should say Flex and KG show because I'm not sure it's confirmed. Flex is on holiday this week. That's why. But he's brought his stuff with him. So it might be a international Flex and KG show.
On location.
On location. So we'll have all that kind of stuff. Previews, of course. We've got the match on Wednesday as well. So plenty on the horizon. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. DJ, where can they find you on social media?
Well, I'm actually off social media at the moment. But when it's back up, I'll let everybody know. We need breaks sometime, guys. So I'll take a break now and again. I do.
I never go off it, but I'm never on it.
I'm never on it. It's just there.
Yeah. It's there, but I'm very rarely on it. I just don't have a lot to say.
You never really post. Remember, that was the thing.
No, I don't have a lot to say. I can't be bothered. Sometimes I'll type stuff out and then I go, actually, no, I don't care.
Actually, no. It's cool.
I don't want to. Sometimes I'll type it out and I go, actually, I don't really want this dialogue.
Do you know what? I think that's good. It's for me, it was just more take a break from it, it gets overwhelming. I get so many messages, which are positive messages. It's nothing negative. I get positive messages. It's just very overwhelming sometimes. But, you know, shout out to the community.
Sometimes you're just scrolling through the timeline, or even, not even necessarily people you follow, like on a match day, and you'll just see it and you just go,
not for me.
Not for me. And finally, Love says, can we have a UV Royal Rumble? Well, who would win?
I'd say either you. Actually, Mina. I think Mina would win. I think she'd rig the ring. I think some ropes in the Royal Rumble be lower than others.
Absolutely.
She's got a mean streak.
She'd have mean streak from Mina. She'd have the minions coming as well. They surround the ring, throw us all out. Queen Mina. She'd Queen Mean. She'd come out on a throne. It probably would be her. You're right. You're right.
Definitely.
Shortest amount of time in there would be KG. 100%. He'd
eliminate
run
himself.
out to the ring. They have to run. They have to run out to the ring and get in. Then he'd be gassed. He'd be like, and then he'd go up straight away.
Marcel just slip under the rope. You know, go on.
Marcel would never enter. He'd just be under the ring the whole time.
He might even win it. He might just sneak in at the end. The last
what would happen? You're right. Everyone would be eliminated. Mina's there celebrating. Then she steps over the top rope, exits, and then Marcel comes back under the ring and says, I won.
It's true.
And he trained for Taco Social last year. He was doing shuttle runs, so he'd be on a big fitness routine. That's what it would be. Anyway, guys, look, we're out there. Have a good Monday. Peace.